Mass. I found love on a Sunday morning. The first thing he said was, "I've watched you." I never knew his head. He always knew something that I didn't. Carried secrets like loose chains, answered questions with metaphors I never understood. Why he spent so much time alone. Talked to himself more often than not. I wished to collect his thoughts in my left-hand pocket, but I'm afraid it's just not big enough. His love was like honey, stuck to every part of me, even when I didn't want it to. He told me he'd be omnipresent. A sweet lover, learned from his father. I told him he couldn't hold me forever, and still he promised, "I will carry you." When guilt rose, wrapped its claws around my chest and ripped into my lungs, and I wished to be home, his arms would espouse my body. He'd stitch my sad scars, echoed "I forgive you's" in my ear, laid me in bed, and it said it wouldn't happen again. But it did. And the more I broke, the less we spoke, pushed him away, said he shouldn't stay, until one day he broke down the door and I was crying on the floor. He ran to my side and there was nowhere I could hide. I was tired of fighting, and his voice was so enticing. I let him in. I let him win. He held my heart, though it was paper thin. I held love on a Sunday morning. He said, "I have loved you with an everlasting love." That day I met his parents. His father was the gravity in the room. Without him, I imagined everyone and everything would float away. He seemed to hold everyone in place. His voice shook my spine. Everything he said had mass. His mother was the life in the room. Clothed in dignity and flowers, her words coated in comfort, pure and wise, that woman knew how to guide. That afternoon I ran to love. Down the aisle, wide-eyed and hypnotized, we would be forever intertwined. Said I do, and he did too. I looked into his eyes and realized he'd brought me home, just like I'd wanted.